Thanks again for joining us. It's 20 to 7 if you're watching the time. Well, the Gauteng African National Congress's Youth League has come out in support of Gauteng Premier David Makhura's advisory panel to look into alternative ways of funding the controversial e-tolls in the province. But Minister of Transport Dipuo Peters recently said that national government wouldn't scrap or review the user pay system. Now, to discuss this further, we're joined by the provincial chairperson of the ANC Youth League, Matome Chiloane in Gauteng. I must say, I don't know if I mentioned that you're from this particular division. Very good morning to you. Thanks again for your time.
Morning.
What's your take on that called a controversial e-tolling system, that conflicting messages between national and provincial government when it comes to the e-tolls? What's your position?
Our view is that we are responding to the many calls that have come out against the system. That even though the population of Gauteng accepts the infrastructure, but the method that is being utilized to pay for it has been the problem. The current billing system, the inconsistencies in the billings and so forth and so forth. And as the Youth League, we have taken a posture that the billing must cease. We are going to work with all the progressive forces, meaning COSATU as an example, that will join them in their programs and they'll join us in our programs against the system, irrespective of who says what at the particular level. This is affecting the Gauteng population, and we have an interest in the Gauteng population, in particular the youth of Gauteng. So we'll go at whatever length necessary for us to be able to ensure that this system ends, and then a particular alternative is then being advanced to ensure that this system is being paid for and so forth. And that's why we're even working closely with the Premier on that panel, and we welcomed it very warmly so. That there is a move that we are responding to the interest of the people of Gauteng.
I'm glad you've touched on the Premier. There's another call that you've made calling for one Premier, one chairperson. Is there a problem with the status quo at the moment?
No, we're not talking about the status quo. All we're saying is that we want a particular single center for better accountability, for synergy between the party and the state. And we've also noted from experiences in other provinces, even in our own provinces, where there might have at some point a perception that there is a conflict between the party and the one who was leading government at the time, our former Premier. Now, the argument that has been posed is, if when there was a resolution in Polokwane that talked to the face of the campaign being the president, now we're taking it a step further to say, even in the province, even in local government, let it be the same. Whoever is the chair, let them become the premier, let them become the mayor.
Okay, well, that's not the situation at the moment. So how do you resolve that? How do you reach one center of power? We have Mr. Paul Mashatile as chair in the province of the ANC, and then we have Mr. Makhura, who's the premier. How do you resolve it?
You would know that in the organization we have conferences and general councils. So fortunately, we're going to the provincial conference of the ANC. That's where we'll want to push it as a resolution, that as part of a resolution and recommendation to the NGC and the policy conference and subsequently the national conference of the ANC, a particular posture should be taken on the heads, political heads of structures at different levels to become administrative heads in government. So we're taking it, this is the first step. We want to take it in the province conference and make sure that it forms part of the resolutions
going forward. Okay, I understand that you've been quite busy. You've released a statement recently commenting on a number of things. I see your Free Palestine scarf. You've spoken about that. You've also spoken about the SABC, the public protector. Let's perhaps start with the SABC. Keep things right here at home first. What do you want to see happening here?
No, we have noted recently on how some can say counter forces, have continued to want to bring instability into the public broadcaster. In particular, the recent attacks, unfounded attacks on the COO. As the Youth League of Gauteng, we've seen that there's been instability coming since he's taken over, considering that he's been acting for a number of years. And in the process, also like the fact that of recently, the SABC has been showing the country in good light, bringing hope to our people, contrary to other media spaces where they continue to bring lies and telling the people that South Africa is not going anywhere. There's not been any change in the past 20 years. So that is what we've noted, and hence we've come out in support that anyone who begins to talk, they tell the good story, support the good story, and ensure that even brings it in visual, then we'll support that, and hence our support for the COO, and also noting that he's experienced, and even the public protector's findings on him never spoke about his inability to do his work, incompetencies. He just spoke about a smaller issue that is not necessarily warrants such a debacle, in our view.
You touched on the public protector. What's your position on Advocate Thuli Madonsela's work?
No, they were just saying that let there be, from the side of the organ, let there be centralized, especially around contentious issues that have public interest. The organization must take a central load around communicating it, and to avoid a situation where the name of the organization is being dragged through the mud. And also on her that, not to say everything she says, her findings are correct, but let us begin to talk to her findings. She's not going to be correct on everything, but however, let's go for the finding, let's keep our eye on the ball, let's leave the man. That's what we're saying as the Youth League in Gauteng. We don't agree with everything she says, I must put that clear, but around, let's just tackle the findings.
ANC Youth League nationally having just celebrated 70 years of its existence, how has the rebuilding process been for the organization?
It has been very encouraging. As you have seen, provinces have come through, structures have been set up, over 80% of regions have gone to Congress. The Youth League is alive. It has never really, it was just an issue that the national leadership has been disbanded at some point, but the reality is that the Youth League is there and it's tackling community issues, is at the forefront of ensuring that issues of the youth are taking center stage everywhere.
The League's 25th National Congress is just around the corner. Are you at liberty to divulge whether or not Gauteng ANC Youth League is behind Mr. Bulemabe?
Congress resolved, the Provincial Congress resolved, and as the chair was given a mandate that I must speak to other provinces to support the view of our province, and which is, they did resolve on Comrade Bulemabe to be the president, and that is what I am advocating for. Hopefully it will find expression in the National Congress. So
we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for having joined us. Speaking on a number of issues, as you have just heard, the Public Protector, the SABC, the 25th National Congress of the ANC Youth League, and a whole range of issues. So if you were wondering what's on the mind of the ANC Youth League Gauteng, you've just heard. Thank you so much for having joined us, Provincial Chairperson Matome Chiloane. Quick ad break, Morning Live.